In this video, we are going to continue to discuss on question 2 of tutorial on chapter 7 biodiversity. Question 2a. Name Z in the three-domain system mechanism. So the three-domain system consists of three domains, okay, which is the first domain here. It says archaea, and then Z should be bacteria. Okay, bacteria for 1 mark, and then the other one is eukarya. So basically, archaea and bacteria are prokaryotes. Okay, prokaryotes. Okay, and as for eukarya, they are eukaryotes. So prokaryote is basically unicellular organism, and they are very microscopic. They have no membrane-bound organelles. Okay, and as for eukarya, they are more complex organism. They can exist as unicellular or multicellular with cells that have membrane-bound organelles. Question B. State the diversity of kingdom Protista in its locomotion. So Protista, okay, they are under the domain eukarya. Okay, so because they are under the domain eukarya, they are eukaryotes. Okay, they are more complex than prokaryotes. But for protists, they are unicellular. They are also unicellular organism, but they are more complex compared to prokaryotes. Okay, the size of the cell is much bigger. So for the kingdom Protista, most of these Protista organism, okay, species, they live in water. They are aquatic organism. So for example, here you have the amoeba, for example, are considered as or group under the kingdom Protista, amoeba species. You have the paramecium species, you have the euglena species. So these are examples of organism under the kingdom Protista. They are aquatic organism. So because they live in water, so they must be able to swim. Okay, so what are the feature of this organism that will help them in their locomotion? Okay, so for this organism to be able to move, so they will have various type of locomotion such as flagella, cilia, pseudopodia, and also a few of these organisms are non-motile. They cannot move. Okay, so that is for the 2 marks. Okay, so they have various type of locomotion such as flagella, cilia, pseudopodia, and a few are non-motile. Okay, amoeba will move through its pseudopodia. Okay, a cell of the amoeba can extend, and then cilia is for example paramecium. Okay, and euglena, they have flagella. Question C. Figure 2 shows a clam and a locust. Okay, so this one is a clam. This one are clams. Okay, and then this one is locust or grasshopper. So question 1. Name the kingdom for both organisms. So obviously both are Animalia. They are under the kingdom Animalia. So 1 mark. State 2 similarities between them. So what are the similarities between clam and locust? So both organisms will have, for the first mark, okay, exoskeleton. And what are the similarities that they have? They have hemocoel. Okay. So what is hemocoel? So hemocoel are body cavities that are filled with fluid, which is a mixture of blood and also interstitial fluid. Okay, so they don't have any blood vessels. Okay, so they have open circulatory system. Okay, they have open circulatory system. So open circulatory system, it means that they do not have any blood vessels to confine the blood. So by having open circulatory system, the blood of the grasshopper will be mixed with its interstitial fluid in the hemocoel. Okay, and so they are covered. The body is covered by exoskeleton. Question D. Explain the differences between the classification of organisms suggested by these two scientists, which is Whittaker in 1969 and Woos in 1977. So for 2 marks, okay, so you must differentiate the features of classification by these two scientists. So for the first point is that Whittaker classified organism into 5 kingdoms. Okay. And as for Woos, he classifies organism into 6 kingdoms. Yes, 6 kingdoms. So the 5 kingdoms, which is come up by Whittaker, are the Monera, and then you have the Protista, fungi, plantae, and Animalia. The 6 kingdoms by Woos are the originally was Monera. Woos divided Monera into 2 more kingdom, which is Eubacteria, okay, and then Archaeobacteria. Okay, so these two was originally from the kingdom Monera, which was separated into Eubacteria and Archaeobacteria, and the other 4 are the same, okay, maintained, which is you have the Protista, fungi, plantae, and then the last one is the same, which is Animalia. Okay, so worth 2 marks. So this is 1 mark. The whole you mentioned all the kingdoms is 1 mark. Okay. So E. Describe the basic characteristics of the organism under the domain bacteria. So like I have mentioned before, archaea, they are prokaryotes. Okay, so the question was 2 marks, so you have plenty of characteristics of archaea that you could list down. Okay, so first, they are prokaryotes. Because they are prokaryotes, they are unicellular. Okay, so you get 2 marks already. And then obviously they are microscopic. And then you could also mention the composition of the cell wall. For archaea, the composition of the cell wall is not made up of peptidoglycan. For bacteria, the domain bacteria, the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, but not for archaea. For organism under the domain archaea, the cell wall are made up of protein and also polysaccharides. Okay. And another feature of archaea that you could include in your answer is that they have no membrane bound organelles. Okay, they are thermophiles. Okay, they are organisms that are listed under or grouped under the domain archaea. Okay, they are really extreme organism. They can live in extreme condition. Okay, so such as, for example, they can be thermophiles. Thermophiles, they live in really hot area, hot spring, for example. Okay, they can be halophiles. Okay, halophiles mean they can live in really high salt concentration environment. Okay, they are salt loving. Okay, hypersaline environment. They can live in hypersaline environment. Okay, they are salt loving. And the other one is Methylogen. Okay, so these are archaea that live in, for example, okay, in the rumen or in the lower segment of intestine of animals. Okay, they live in the intestine of animals, such as the animals ruminants. Okay, ruminants. So these are examples of feature of organism under the domain archaea.